Good news everybody, it is Saturday the 26th of March 2022 at the time of filming. The big one is back, and it's back open for the first time since December 2021. It's had 103 metres of retracking work. It was retracked over the winter. The original track sections were taken out in late December 2021, and the new track sections were put in sometime between, it's like 2 days in February, and the new track was manufactured over winter. The process of the new track actually started sometime back in August, and the process from there was worked on all the way up until the track was delivered on site here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So it is now about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't actually know, my Fitbit's died, so I haven't got it on me anymore. We actually got on the first train of the season, and then we did it straight away after. And yeah, it's very smooth through the new track sections. Would like to do it a couple more times to really sort of give a fair assessment, and we are going to do it more times today. But just to give sort of an initial reaction, it is so much smoother, so much quieter, and you can tell that Taziker have really modernised the big one once again with their retracking work. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I'll bring Mark in a little while to talk about it too. There is quite a lot of season pass holders about Blackpool Pleasure Beach today, so we'll try and get hold of those and see their opinions too. Unfortunately, Mike can't be with us today due to watching Altrincham lose once again. Sorry Mike, it had to be said. So yeah, I'll try and get some season pass holder views as the day goes on, but we'll definitely hear from Mark, you'll definitely hear more from me about the big ones retrack as the day goes on. Was it worth it, guys?
100%, wasn't it? I think the big difference, you know, after that first drop, that run into the brake course is probably my second favourite part of the ride. We were a wee bit worried we weren't going to get thrown out of our seats, but we did, which was great. And I think the big difference for me was noise.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot quieter. But right now, we were actually just on the Pleasure Beach Express there, and we went under as it was going over, and it was so quiet. Like it glided over that rail, didn't it? What was your impression?
Generally the noise of it sounds like a bullet just going through.
Did it?
Sounds like a bullet.
A quiet bullet.
A very, very quiet one.
Very quiet, very smooth one, wasn't it?
So it's definitely worth the journey then?
Worth the journey, absolutely. Absolutely. And you couldn't have, it's a perfect day.
Yeah.
The sun's shining, it's reasonably quiet. So we'll get back on it. It was quite slow, because it was like the third train of the day.
Yeah.
So it was a wee bit slower than normal, but we'll go back like on it now? A bit
The
faster.
atmosphere in the station was amazing.
Was it? It was good, wasn't it? We went there good.
Excellent.
Yep.
Here comes the famous Sam Sheppard.
Been on yet?
You've been on the big one?
Yes.
What do you think? It's good, the new retracking. Feels a bit different to the old one though. It's going to take a few rides to get used to the new track.
Smooth though. Do you
Yeah.
like it? That's the main thing.
Yep, smoother. It's going to extend its life by a few more years. which
Just
is
a
what-
few, I think at least 20 or 30.
Maybe a couple of generations.
It'll outlive us.
Yes, that's what
certain
I'm
of it.
hoping. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, definitely. What bit of it would you like to see retrack next?
I've had 2 rides on it today. I had a ride on the back row and I've had a ride in the middle.
Yep.
Some of the earlier parts of the course, especially the hills near Infusion, are getting a bit bumpy. You can feel it on the back row.
Yeah.
So maybe they could get a retrack next.
Is that what you'd like to see? Yeah.
Yeah,
fair
that
enough. But happy with the retrack that they've done this time? Yeah.
And
Excellent.
also the manufacturer who's done the retracking.
Taziker.
Taziker. Shout out to them. They've done an excellent job.
Excellent. Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, Sam.
He's off. We've got Owen and we've got Harry, Pleasure Beach regulars. What do you guys think of the new Big One track?
It's weird, I'll tell you that. It's very smooth. It's probably one of my favourite parts of the ride now, just because of the weird lateral feeling you get.
I think we'll all get used to it. That's the thing. But at first I was like, oh, that's different.
I actually like it.
You do?
It's better than the old one.
You think, yeah?
As I think once that wears in and the ride's flying, you'll proper sway. And
Yeah.
you'll provide more thrill than normal. Because them 2 sections were just smooth. This one is proper thrill.
Just a quick one on Icon and ENSO today. A couple of days ago I was in Blackpool for the Blackpool Pleasure Beach 2022 season launch, and whilst I was in Blackpool, ENSO, Icon's spinning carriage, was testing. One last thing about Icon for now, there's no official opening day for ENSO known. However, I do anticipate that there will be some news from Blackpool Pleasure Beach in the next week or so about when ENSO will be available here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Another change here at Blackpool Pleasure Beach is the glass or perspex panels around the Grand National. So the white fencing has gone, and well, it looks a lot more modern actually. When I first saw some of the pictures on Pleasure Beach Experience chat that had been posted, I wasn't sure what to make of it, but now having seen it in person, I think it looks really smart, and it does give the Grand National station a bit more of a modern look about it. And on the subject of the Grand National, it's testing today. There it comes, Grand National. Very good to see this. Nice to see it through those panels as well. Grand National testing, how good is that to see?
Very, very good to see. When it stopped last year, you was worried. I was genuinely worried that it might not be around, but you've seen all the work that they've been putting in over it. It's so good to see it testing. Hopefully it opens soon. Be good to get back on it.
Sticking with the subject of the Grand National for now, they appear to be doing a lot of repainting work around the station as well. As we can see here, a lot of the paint's been taken off, and I'm sure before it reopens it'll be freshly painted, and it's going to look great, and it's just going to be so good to get back on the Grand National. I really cannot wait to see how much different it is compared to the last few years. At this moment in time, the Grand National is just tested on one train, and it's just cycling constantly. This is fairly standard practice for the Grand National. I've seen this quite a lot over the years when watching it test ahead of a new season. Okay, so Mark, 3 goes on the big one. What are you thinking of the new track?
It's alright, it's different, certainly different. A bit like when I first rode the other new section that went in under the tunnel. Might take a little bit of getting used to because it is rather quiet, to be honest with you. I kind of sometimes miss the noise when it rattles over the EVAC platforms, but you know what? Fair play to them for doing it. It's good. It was just so good to get back on it, and like I said, they have done good work on it.
Yeah, so what is sort of a standout for you in terms of the new track? Is it the smoothness, the quietness, well, it hasn't been reprofiled, but it does feel a little bit like it's been reprofiled. But what for you stands out the most about it?
How quiet it is. How quiet it is. There's time when we come around on the Pleasure Beach Express and you just didn't know it was coming. Couldn't hear it. So used to it, like it's on its way, here it is, and doesn't have that. It is very, very smooth as well. So you know, I know that they say they obviously not made any adjustments to it, but I think because we're on it and we know that this new section is coming,
you're looking for something different, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think that's probably having a little effect on it today. It's like, how's it feel? Whereas like normally when you're on it, it's like, I'm enjoying the big one. So hopefully in a few weeks' time, a few more rides on it, be back to you'll be like, yeah, it's exactly what it was.
Do you think we're maybe we've over analysed it a little bit today, where we've gone on it and we're looking for something different, whereas actually it's just, I think it's significantly improved the ride in terms of smoothness, because like, even though you still get that kick of airtime into block brake, it's a lot smoother in doing it.
Yeah, it is. It feels like it's a little bit more gradual rather than a right slam into it. You still get like thrown up and a bit of airtime on it, but I genuinely think they've done a fantastic job with it.
I agree. Which bit of it's coming now, so we might want to just let it go past actually. Some more of Taziker's great work to the big one there in that bottom section.
It doesn't sound that noisy when you're on it.
It doesn't, but it's that EVAC platform, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, I'd like them though to do the helix now, please.
Yeah, but after block brake.
Yeah, genuinely think that's the area that needs it now more than anything. You know, maybe as well, maybe slightly reprofile at airtime. It'll get a bit more airtime on it. You never know, but that's the area that I'd be looking at now.
So bringing this video to an end today, firstly I want to say thank you to Taziker once again for essentially saving the big one, because for every bit of work they do on it, they prolong its lifespan by another at least 15-20 years at least. And I think, like we said to Sam before when he was on camera, I think the big one will probably outlive some of us now, and that's not being morbid, it just probably will do, because you think that with all the retracking work that's going on, Big Dip was very noisy, so I was just letting it go past. You'd imagine that there's going to be more retracking this winter, maybe the winter after, maybe the winter after that. It's a very big ride, there's a lot of it to do, a lot of it's now been done, but there's still a lot for them to do, I would imagine. And I would imagine now that they've done this bit, that they're already thinking, right, what's next? Because you have to plan these things months and months in advance, and Taziker are a company that are growing and growing and growing every year, and they're getting so much bigger as a company, and I'm personally very happy to see that, because not only because of what they've done to the big one in terms of improving its sort of longevity, but also the people that work for Taziker are great people. They're very welcoming, very inviting. If you ask them a question and say, well, why have you done it like this, they'll tell you why they've done it, and it's very interesting to follow what they're doing to the big one, but also what they're doing as a company. And I, for one, am very, very pleased to see the growth in the company for Taziker, and I just hope that it carries on. And I hope that, like I said in videos in the past about Taziker, I hope that what they're doing on the big one extends further into the attractions industry, where other parks will go to them and say, we need this ride retracking, please come and do it. And of course it might happen here. There's other steel coasters. I mean, I don't know if you could see it behind me, but Infusion, you see a lot of people saying Infusion needs retracked. Of course, Vekoma are still here, so I don't know how they'd feel about that. But at the end of the day, Taziker could make any steel ride better with their excellent work that they've done to the big one and what they just do in general. So moving on from that, in terms of the big one itself, we've done it 3 times today. Front row, third from the back, back row. And as was said behind camera when Mark was talking, I think we've maybe tried to over-analyse it a little bit today and looked for things that are different. But I don't think this time that, like, the bit here was reprofiled, the bit into the tunnel was reprofiled. But I think this bit on the Big Dipper, I don't actually think it's very different to, in terms of profile, excuse me, in terms of profile, I don't think it's been made like vastly different, but I think because it's so smooth and so quiet, it feels different in a weird sort of way. And I think if I go back to last year's opening day when we did the big one, and you go through the tunnel and you're going, this is very, very different in a good way. And I think that we're going to all feel like that about Star Hill as well. I think it's different, but it isn't, if that makes sense. And I think that overall they've done a great job. They've smoothed out the big one again. And I think the people who have perhaps criticised the big one for being rough are going to come on it and go, yeah, it's improved again, it's got smoother, and they're going to be thinking, well, what else is Pleasure Beach going to do? What else is Taziker going to do? I think overall they've done a great job, and it's the way they've made the walkways why it's quieter. I don't think we've spoken about that too much in sort of the construction of the new track so much, but they have sort of done it differently with the walkways, which is why they're quieter. Also, there's more cross ties, so that makes the track stronger, and that might be why it's quieter too. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's quieter, there's a lot of reasons why it's smoother, but overall, I think they've done a great job. I have missed hearing these noises that this ride makes, I've got to say. Overall, they've done a cracking job, so well done to Taziker. Well done to Blackpool Pleasure Beach Engineering, well done to everybody involved. You've absolutely smashed it once again, and I can't wait to sit spending a lot of time going on this ride once again. Now, where would I like to see done next? From a filming point of view, somewhere really easy to watch it from, you know, like maybe the turnaround. I don't know where I want them to do. I think the Helix does make sense. That whole section after block break to join up with the bit that they did last year would make a lot of sense. Also the bit where they did in 2020 with the bit that they've just done, perhaps just meeting those ends up from, because obviously you've got the 4 new sections here and then a 103 metre section, but there's a bit in between of original track, so maybe they'll do that, I don't know. So I don't know, the Helix or the turnaround, I'm going to say, they're both a little bit bumpy these days. So the Helix or turnaround, I think, but be interesting to see what they do. So that's all from today. Obviously we've covered the big one mostly. There's the Grand National testing, there's ENSO testing, and I think the next time we're at Blackpool Pleasure Beach we're going to try and make sure we're here when ENSO's open and the Grand National's open. So many thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next Pleasure Beach Experience video.